Brianna won't be helping her, she said. Somebody else will take care of it, so.
I don't know if they're doing it like normal or
They're doing it all online.
all online.
Yeah.
One participant, me. A little light on. Go ahead and start. If we don't have video, we still can hear everything.
Okay, so let's call to order and verification of meeting notice.
Posted on the web. Yeah.
Okay. Agenda,
I so move.
second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right. So discussion of bills and balances.
Ithaca.
Oh, she said 1 second. Are you ready?
I said hi, Zach.
Oh,
Sorry.
hi, Zach. I said 1 second. All right. Okay, so the first one.
I apologize.
Sorry, is 50315. It's first book. I don't really have any questions on it. It was the books to give away. I just wanted to bring it up in the board meeting that, you know,
Who's the vendor?
it was first book. It was $1,467.69. I just want to call attention to that. We bought 3 books for the kids. That's what was all in the gymnasium, I'm assuming, for,
So
Yeah.
you're saying the district or?
The district paid for books for the
Okay.
kids.
Yeah, that was my question, was the sponsor.
yeah, I looked and I didn't, yeah. Anyway, I just thought I would bring that up at the board meeting.
Yeah.
Because it's something nice. Okay. You ready, Cheryl? Yep. Okay. Then the very next one, I actually have 3 in a row, 15, 16, and 17. So 50316 is full compass for the speaker system in the gym, $7,031
Okay, and that was all fundraised.
fundraised. for the
Okay, I knew it was
That-
donated or fundraised.
I was pretty sure too, but I just wanted to ask, and I just thought maybe I'd bring that up too, because it's a nice thing. We all need a
What
little
was the amount on that one?
$7,031 exactly. You'll need a little positivity. And then 50317, Katrina Johnson, it's like double the amount it usually is. So yeah, I was wondering about that.
Part of that is that she had to re-up for the grant, so she used some of her time. She had to apply again. So she spent a couple hours working on that, and then or I don't know, couple is the wrong word to use. She used some time to
Okay.
that. And then she's also doing some investigating about providing services or providing the screening online. Because we started screening, we got 1 day in, and then we had to stop. So that's been irritating because we really wanted to do the screening.
So the monthly normally is $13.12,
Right.
and
so
then
it
she
was
put in
quite a bit.
$2,000 for community mental health provider coordination for family engagement.
Which is just reapplying for the grant.
Yeah, and that'll all come out of the grant then.
Okay. Okay, I probably don't even need to bring that up then. All right, and then my last one, I only had one more. It was 50321, so precision controls are what you had to, okay. For the boiler in the high school, it was $2,102.92. Yeah, we keep thinking, we're done with them, but then there's another one.
Was hot water boiler high school.
Domestic hot water circulating pump needs changing out due to leaking. And they did, when they came in to do the summer stuff, they noticed it was dripping and leaking. And I said, well, make sure you tell Frank. And they found out that it's the pump needed to be changed, cracked impeller and volute being pitted badly. Left a spare coupling, old pump's motor is still good, so left it as a spare.
I know they'd had problems with boys' locker room with hot water there, often seeing taking a long time to get there, or
Boys
Or not
probably,
at all.
Or
boys
not.
probably need a cold shower sometimes
And
anyway.
then they put some boilers showed alarms, as did main circuit pumps and gym, shop and cafeteria air handlers. This was due to the brownout that happened. went through with the staff and showed them how to reset everything. And once we did this, everything ran fine and went back to good.
Okay,
That's good to hear.
so that's all you had, Linda? Did you have anything, Steve?
Nope.
Okay. All right, 5, discussion of hourly staff pay.
I have these. Is this what you're looking for?
Yes, I believe I am. I got too many tiles.
Thank you.
You have one, Julie? You want me to put one on your desk?
Put one on my desk, please.
Okay.
I can't find mine.
So we did show you what a 1.5 and a 2.0 and a 3.3% increase was, what they were, the rate of pay at 1920 was, and if you went with the 3%, what it would be. 2021. Bus drivers we had already approved, so then it's just Frank
Okay.
and Adam over on the side. Should have taken that off this time, I'm sorry.
Because we've done the support staff, haven't we?
No,
No.
we haven't.
No, we have
Yeah.
not.
We did bus
It
drive.
didn't feel like that long ago that we gave them
Yeah.
3%. Was it a whole year already?
It's
been a whole year ago.
Keepers, Linda, where were we? That's what I
I
was
know,
thinking.
we've been here all the time.
I was thinking the same thing you were thinking, so it's just, we just
Okay.
lost a year somehow. Okay.
So we did not put Larry on here because we just hired him.
Right, okay.
And there's 2 vacant support staff positions. So we put them at what we had started the other new ones at
Right.
a year ago or whatever
Okay.
it was, 2 years ago.
So do we have, how much it'll cost us per year on here anywhere, and I'm missing?
No, I didn't do that. But it's peanuts compared to the teachers.
Yeah, but how
Right.
much per hour? 189.16.
So what's
That
that
would be
extra,
the
$27 an hour?
Well, that's if you give them a 3% rate.
Right,
Currently, it's 162.78.
An hour for all those people.
But of course, the 2 people that are missing aren't in that one, so it's a little,
all right, help me with the math then. If we do 27 extra dollars per hour, how many hours are we talking here? And that's for all of them, yeah, so I
so
don't know
8
what I'm doing,
times,
Cheryl.
Were you getting
40 times
I
36.
took the 189.16 minus the
Times
1
13.
times 13. And that's for the whole year?
13 people.
13 people,
Right, but it's only 20 per hour, it's 20 something per times.
so it's per
Increase.
hour.
Mhm.
Most of them
I was just trying to
work
get to an annual rate, but my brain is fried.
At least
So if we
32,
do
don't
that,
they?
it's 26.38.
For most of them were.
If they were full-time at 2080 hours, that's not, I can't be. Yeah, $54,870. That's,
That's
they don't work 2080,
That can't be right.
Right, they
Right,
don't
they work 9 months a year.
Right.
except for Ben, Sue, Tom, and Brooke.
Work year round.
They work year-round. And Mary Jo and Barb have 210 days, I think.
Yeah, they have 10 days on either side, or 15 and 10, 10 and 5, 15 and 5, I think it is. 5 and 15.
I knew I should have. I was here all weekend.
So if you take that, the 454 times 40 hours times 45 weeks,
Yeah,
just
about.
kind of.
Oh, all right, that'll rough it, let me try that. All right, so 4.54 times 40 times how many weeks?
45 roughly.
45, roughly $8,172.
It's normally under 10,000.
Yeah. So, I mean, do we set a precedent here as far as like, okay, we keep getting support staff 3%, but we're not giving the teachers?
I was just gonna say, and with what the teachers have been through, did we just do the 1.5?
They don't,
No,
They
they
don't-
don't,
They
increase the
just
base.
whatever.
right, they move
They
on the
move
salary
up by
schedule.
law.
They move up.
They automatically move
So.
And when I figured out the calculations on the lower end, it was like a 2.9, and up on the upper part, it was like 1.6%.
So, yeah, if it's,
Okay.
if they either get 1,000 or a 750, generally overall. First 10 years, they get 1,000, and some of them jump a bar and they get 2,000, and 750 is the lower end of the increases.
That's kind of the idea of that we don't have to revisit it every year.
Right.
But I have heard them talk about,
Oh, there's
well, we should get an, there
There was
should be an
talk.
increase on the schedule, and
There
it's
was a
like,
talk a month after we did it.
I know.
Yeah. People complaining that they didn't get.
I mean, I don't have a problem with the 3%. We have great support staff here. I just was worried about setting precedent or sending a bad message to the teachers. But I mean, if you don't think that that's an issue, then
You're
No.
gonna have it.
I think most of the assistants elsewhere at other school districts are starting at 13.
But they're
They don't have
not getting the
insurance.
benefits.
Right.
And that insurance brings that up
Oh, I know.
considerably.
I know.
you're right.
What their pay is.
You are totally right on that, yes. So yeah, I mean, I'm open to suggestion.
So if we went with the 2%, that would kind of be right in the middle with the salary schedule as far as for the staff. I mean, I don't have a problem with 3% either. I think what we have to think about, I mean, I'm sure you've all been reading all this COVID, is we may have to bring on, if we're gonna have to do in school and online, all the reading and the things that I have listened to said, it will probably require more staff. Because if you have your teachers here 5 days a week, teaching students every other day or whatever, if we have to keep the numbers down, who's gonna manage the online?
Right.
Yeah, I would think we're in a lot better position than a lot of other schools with our numbers.
Well, I think with the numbers we are, but I also think that that is going to be an issue.
I think it's gonna be more of an issue in things like lunch, when we're hallways, we might have to look at doing breaks at different times, things like that. It's when you start commingling everybody together. I think our room number, our numbers in the rooms and in the classrooms and that, I think we can manage that. It's just how we're gonna manage the end of the day, beginning of the day, when
But we're
everybody's.
also, if parents do not want their kids to come to school, we are responsible to continue with.
And I would think
online.
then we would just go to a Zoom, right? Where they would Zoom in with the.
Well, so what
in the
she's
class.
saying though is the teachers are doing all of their in classroom stuff the same as they would any other year. And then the kids who are at home who are gonna be Zooming, we're gonna have somebody responsible for that. And my thought process on that might be, do you know how many people maybe would just love to have a part-time work from home job? We wouldn't have the benefit. I guess we have to bring on more staff, but we could have like part-time people log on from home. I mean, we have people knocking down our doors for 1075, I don't know.
Wouldn't they be responsible if they would be at home, wouldn't they be responsible to, if we had, like, say, the normal class and they'd have the Zoom on during, they would have to tune in at the times that we.
Right, that's a possibility that they would be, they call it asynchronous, so that the teacher would teach a lesson and they would be taping it at the same time
Okay.
that the children can then watch if they have the capability of watching it, live streaming it. Otherwise, it would be taped, and then the parents and kids can watch it later and do whatever the activity is. So there's all different methods of doing that, but the idea would be all the kids in the classroom. But the problem is then you have to make sure that the kids at home understood the lesson. So on the teacher's part, it could be just taping what they're doing for 20 minutes, but you don't want a huge 2-hour Zoom lesson because it's harder than heck to live stream that and tape it and even watch it later. So, yeah.
And then someone has to correct that. I don't know, and I know a lot of what's out there now probably pertains to the bigger schools and things like that, but a lot of schools are already considering laying off their, what they call not essentials.
Like support staff, you mean?
No,
Like
FIAD teacher, music teachers,
Oh.
And not doing the arts part of it.
not doing the arts, but we have that graduation requirement. So, but, you know, I mean, I'm just saying, in moving forward in the next few months, and I know we have a fund balance and everything, but I'm just saying that we had our first restart meeting.
Yes. It's a challenge in and of itself.
I don't have a problem with the 3%. I'm just saying that I think we need to be looking, even if it doesn't happen, what the possible costs could end up being.
What are you thinking, Steve?
This is, you're darned if you do, you're darned if you don't.
Yeah.
I think whatever we do, we have to do the same for all the support staff.
Correct.
Because what we're doing here, what we're talking here, isn't including what the raise would be for Frank and when did we,
Frank, Adam, and Larry.
well, Larry just started, so
Okay.
We did remove him. We made a kind of an
when
executive
did
decision.
we promote Frank to his new?
In December,
We retroed his pay,
but we retroed his pay.
so it's like it's been a year almost.
Yeah, but he got a big jump.
Yeah, he did.
So, and he got it clear back to the beginning of the year, so.
And didn't we just bump up the bus drivers? I see they're on here, but.
Right, I should have taken them
That's
all.
done.
That's
I just,
It's
they were all
done.
on my
That's to remind us of the good work we've done.
Yeah, that's done.
We have accomplished
So you can
much.
just do
Yeah,
that.
I just-
Right.
Okay, got that, okay.
And they received 3%. The bus drivers?
Well, yeah.
And part of that was to bring it at least to the middle of what all the other bus drivers were getting, which was what we did to the support staff the last time.
Yes.
Which did not seem like a year ago.
Yep, I'm with you. To you?
Yes.
When she said it, I was thinking, like, I guess
I
it's
thought
been a
we just
year.
talked
And then
about
Linda brought
that.
it up and I was like, yeah. Oh, okay, it's been.
Okay,
All right, back to the, all
but
right, so
2% is 54.54, 3% is 81.72.
I mean, $3,000 a wiggle room or something else.
26,
To Linda's
$2,700.
point, I don't know.
well, and bringing back to your point, it is going to cause issue with teachers,
So I feel like
even
I'm
though they were
hearing,
in on this
One of the
nobody's
supposedly.
actually
things-
saying it, but I feel like we're leaning toward 2.
Well, one of the things is, we paid them the whole time that they weren't here and we continued their pay, so that was a pretty good will. So,
And I think the other thing is the insurance.
The
We're one of
insurance.
the few. I mean, when Cheryl or Julie, whoever provided that with us, I mean, I think we almost stood out there alone, didn't we? Where support staff got the same as
Correct.
staff.
Most support staff don't get anything because they're not full-time, and ours are all.
Do you know, just off the top of your head, how many districts around us only do part-time or don't have the same health benefits as teachers or?
Riverdale's all part-time.
Riverdale doesn't have a full-time paraprofessional in sight.
River Valley.
Richland has a couple of full-timers, but most of them are part-time.
Okay.
Weston has a mix. I don't know about River Valley though.
They're probably just as people are retiring, bringing in new ones in part-time, you think, and leaving the other ones where they are? Okay. All right, I still feel like based on all the points that are being brought up, we're leaning toward 2. So after I said that, then the next 2 points that came up were sort of a leaning toward 2.
that would be mine. Just based on, they had a third of a year here where we paid them. Uncertainty this fall.
Right.
Okay. So our recommendation of the full board is 2%? Okay. All right. Anything else on that? Moving on to number 6, discussion of buses purchase.
I know, that's not very good.
I didn't know if there were 1 or 2, I just.
We don't know.
Okay.
That's part of the discussion.
Okay,
We got carried away, we bought a whole fleet.
Yeah.
It was shiny and yellow. We just couldn't-
it really caught our attention.
we couldn't-
So
We can say
there's two bids there.
Okay.
I have
You
mine.
have, okay.
So,
Well, and
the
that's
rest of them for
another
the
issue.
other.
If we have to, if it's only going to be that we can only have so many kids on the bus,
Oh, we may need more.
it's gonna cost more
Routes or
with bus
something.
drivers because they'll have to turn around and go back, those that can. We have several that have other jobs.
So Owen reached out to Thomas, Nelson's Wisconsin Bus Sales and the international dealer, I don't remember what their name is, but we got nothing back from them. So the Wisconsin Bus Sales, it's a Bluebird, $83,897. It's a 2021, 71 passenger, 5-speed. It's governed at 71 miles an hour. The heater, I don't know if it's BTUs, whatever, is 50,000 in the rear. Where it's blowing heat out. 3-year bumper to bumper warranty. And they have a mobile unit for warranty work, but they charge you $200 every time they come out. That's kind of like the brief synopsis
She's pretty.
of the things that we talked about. So the Nelson bus, and these are not snub nose. These are conventional.
Yeah, we got the pictures.
Yeah, and so they're too big for both of these are too big for our garage. But they're on warranty, and we don't have a mechanic in-house anyway.
They gotta go to.
So they'd have to go to Arneson's if it's not warranty work anyway. So, so the Thomas is a 72 passenger. The horse, it's a 2021. It's a 6-speed. It is governed at 67 miles per hour. So the only time that would be an issue is if they're doing an interstate driving. The HVAC would put out 84,000 BTUs in the back of the bus, so it'd be warmer. The other bus had an air ride seat for the driver, and this one has a mechanical seat.
These buses are the ones they had, like, somebody ordered like 8 or
10 of them
and
and
backed up.
backed out when
So
COVID
they
hit.
have 8 buses left. We talked about it in Buildings and Grounds.
Okay.
So they have 8 buses left, and they were like $110,000 bus, and now we can get them for 90. It was,
So the Thomas is
So
89.
Thomas is ready to write the number down. 89,000.
That's
Thomas,
actually- yeah.
sorry, it says dealership resources.
That's in there.
Oh, it's in there. Sorry, I put it right.
Yeah, that one had it in,
Yeah,
sorry.
the other one doesn't.
the Wisconsin one is what, 83,000?
$83,897.
$897. Okay. So what are we getting for our extra $5,000 then?
So you're getting
More heat.
more heat.
Better service.
But the questions we had when we looked through this the other day, Randy really knows. We had a question on if they were air brakes or not, if they were air suspension or not, spring versus air
It's an air ride,
ride.
but it's not air seat for the driver.
But now on this Thomas one, when we looked at it the other day, it did not say air ride, it said spring. That's what our question was. Because when we had spec'd it, when Andy had spec'd it, he expected air ride. But these aren't, this is just what they have. They weren't necessarily our specs, you know what I mean?
I specifically asked Owen that, and he emailed you back and said, yes,
Okay.
they are air ride.
There was one.
And we wrote it down, we talked about it today.
Okay, good.
They're both air ride suspension.
Good.
The other thing about the warranty work is Nelson's has 2 or 3 they have 2 mobile units. They were looking at putting a 3rd one on. And there is no charge for warranty work. They come right to us and do it. Think of anything else? The Thomas, we can get a 1-week delivery on. The Bluebird, the guy never got back to Owen on.
So sorry, I'm really dumb when it comes to vehicles. So for $5,000 more, we're getting a little bit more heat in the back, which kids are always warm and wound up anyway. I'm not that worried about that. I mean, they're gonna be warm back there.
But
And also we're getting the warranty.
no charge for if they have to come
Right.
out and do warranty.
It also, the
other
end,
one is 200.
and the engine is a little bit bigger, so it'll pull the hills a little bit better.
Okay, and
It's a
how
16.
long does that free warranty business last?
Okay, so it's
Bumper
a
to bumper?
3-year or 50,000 miles.
Okay,
Then it's a 5-year structure and sheet metal warranty, 5-year paint adhesion warranty, and the Cummins engine is under a 5-year. Transmission is under a 7-year.
and we don't get any of that with this one.
You do, but they charge you. They'll come on and fix it. They're gonna
Right.
charge you $200
And
to come out.
you'll get the 5-year, the Cummins and the transmission, those warranties are the same because that's a Cummins and a, whatever the company, Allison transmission,
Okay,
that comes from the manufacturer.
And maybe my memory serves me wrong, but when Andrew dealt with the Thomas, didn't he or their whole
Yes.
approach and everything was better than Bluebird?
So they
Or
will,
not?
they will train
I think
someone.
It's in my head.
They will train someone, if we send someone from here, they will train them to do the warranty work. And then our guy, if it's Owen, whoever, if he does the warranty work,
It'll cover.
it'll be covered
that's
Nelson's will?
on Nelson.
No.
Yes.
On
That's something
Nelson.
Owen's willing to do.
I think Andy much preferred working with Nelson's than,
Right. Now,
Yeah, that's,
just another plug here, the Bluebird, the buses we had problems with this last year, so many, they were the Bluebirds.
Okay.
And those are the 2 flat noses that we have.
I mean,
I
I'm sold.
Are not, no,
these-
sorry. They were,
Snub noses.
they weren't stubbed,
No.
the snub noses, because Owens was fine. It was Bill's bus, which is a conventional, and then tan,
There's one bus 11, right, bus 11 is,
it's junk.
it's worth 0. And then what's the other one that's not good? 15?
I think so.
That is not, it's very good.
and he's hard on it. He's
We-
very hard on the vehicle.
So we went, like, 5 years ago, we went where our fleet was in a lot of trouble. And we bought 2 good used ones, and then we bought 2 really good used ones
That was only,
from Nelson's, right?
no, yeah.
3
Yeah.
years ago?
Well, this is my 3rd, I'm finishing my 3rd year superintendent. In July, I start my 4th one, so it's.
5 years ago,
3 years.
5 years ago when we bought our last new bus, right?
Yeah, and it was 97,000 new.
Yeah.
That many
And
years ago.
so at that time, we bought one and we had like 6 buses that needed replacing, like seriously. We bought one and like the rest are like, which do you throw, which do you get rid of? So then we bought the 2 really good used ones and that helped us. And then we bought, when Sauk City went out of business, we bought their 2 best buses and their camera stuff. So that kind of patched the fleet, brought it back to decent.
If we
And-
went with the Thomas, one of the things we were talking about is it could launch us into that possible lease thing where then after 3 years, we trade them in. If we traded 2 in, it would pay for 1 new one. So I mean, if we do that and we do it when it's still on warranty, there's enough of a trade-in value that 2 trade-ins will equal the purchase of a new bus.
And then, so then if we do that every 2 years, you would, in like 4 years, we would have them rotated through, right?
Right.
And I think like Steve said, I think Nelson's has been good to work with.
I know Andy much preferred working with them. They're really
And
good.
Owen is much more impressed with.
These buses are not what we would expect. They're much more than what we would expect. We would have stripped down and not gone, we would have gone with something that would have been more in this price range versus these are like $110,000 buses. So they got some bells and whistles on them that we don't have. Now, our discussion in buildings and grounds was, what do we think we have
Okay,
as far
that
as
was-
leftover?
When I,
Take a little out of fund balance and go for
Yep.
two and set ourselves up for,
Because we're
Two.
not gonna get this price again.
right,
No.
right,
set ourselves up for two, budget for a new bus, half a bus for the next 2 years. Then when we trade two in, we can, instead of just getting one, we can get two again, because we would have half of a bus, 1 year, half. So we'd have enough to buy a whole new bus, trade the two in on warranty, and then get another. You see what I mean?
so that we're on some kind of a rotation system.
Yeah.
But as long as we stay within that warranty, whatever, and if, I mean, we don't put that many miles on. And one of the things Owen talked about today was making sure that those buses that aren't getting the mileage are in the rotation for the extracurriculars. He
Yes.
said the drivers won't be real happy because they'll be switching buses and they all feel different and they all, but eventually they'd all be the same. So it wouldn't matter which one they jumped on to go extracurricular, but then we could keep the miles about the same, where some of them were like, and the others are way down.
We can start pulling down our costs for maintaining buses, because most of it would be
Warranty work. So when I did the budget, I preliminarily, I put in all the wages, all the benefits, like we would have spent them all. And the projections are 174,000. But
left over.
we still have a month left that we gotta pay bills yet. So that's kinda, that's two buses.
That's two buses, that's.
We can get them within a week, we're not sure.
And that's a $40,000 savings, basically.
Yeah.
Because it's 20,000 on each bus.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, it isn't what we would order,
Devil's advocate,
but
it's like, okay, I just went and, I saved $40 on these pair of pants that,
But if I
like,
wouldn't
well, I
have
wouldn't have bought them. You know what I mean? See, people can always say that. Well, you still spend 100, but we still need new buses. We have it in the budget to do it.
Yeah, I come home and tell my husband, oh, I saved this, blah, blah, blah. He's like, you're practically making me
Yeah,
money.
exactly.
Yeah.
He
says that every time,
Brand new
yeah.
piece of equipment one day, and he's down in the shop. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm working on, well, look, I saved you all this money by fixing it. I'm like, but you broke it and I paid you to fix it. That was our recommendation from Buildings and Grounds would be to buy two if the finance committee recommended it was in the budget.
And we didn't have an exact number of what they would cost, but we figured it would be, they told us between around 85, 95, in between there.
80 to 90 is what they originally
And
said.
so it's 89,795, so he's.
so for this one,
The Thomas?
Thomas,
Thomas.
yes, it's.
so if we're buying
85.
two,
Yeah.
That's
the
have we
other-
got a good
that's the
negotiator?
other-
That's the other one that we're kind of hoping they don't kick another.
That's
That's exactly
one
what
thing
we thought.
Andrew was
That's
good at,
the
was
thing.
negotiating.
Yeah, I would like to, I know one of the last days when I talked to Andy when he left, I said, he said, well, I'll be around. I would like to just have him look at these specs and compare them to what he had looked at, call him and say, hey, is this, are we missing anything? Because I know he went through these things a lot.
Yeah.
And he might tell us, hey, deal with so-and-so or talk to so-and-so. You know what I mean? He might, from the years of talking to him, we could,
Well, I know he and Owen have talked.
Yeah, I think Owen's been talking.
okay,
Yeah.
he has been talking
Yeah.
on these?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know about on this, but I know,
I know they.
yeah.
Mhm.
So are you comfortable if we say, hey, we're getting two?
I
How do
am,
you feel?
from the standpoint that we added $500 and some $1,000 last year to
To
fund
fund
balance.
Yeah, and even if we've got to pull a little back out to put basically a third of our fleet new.
Yeah.
Well, when we think what we could spend on repairs, if
What
we
we
don't do it,
What we will
what we
spend.
have already
What we will
spent.
Right,
plus
and they'll
what
be
we
down.
will spend.
I mean, and then you're
Yeah.
down. I mean,
Right.
and one bus,
Yeah.
literally, we can't put it on the road. it's
No,
not safe. The
there's-
brakes
there's-
are shot, they're gone, and they can't, you know.
See, if we hadn't got lucky those 2 other times, we would have been in this situation twice, a couple years ago, and then 3 years we'd have been in. We just got lucky and ran into those very good used ones.
Well, and I think if this would help us get into that leasing schedule,
That's what I was worried about. I really would like, I think that would be really good. It would be good for the morale of the bus drivers in and of itself. That's not a huge consideration, but it is, in my opinion, a consideration. They're proud to drive the buses that run well and
Look well.
look well and, you know, and
well,
and the money's okay right now. Okay, not great, of course, but
Well, we've got some
and
extra
new ones
because of
need
some
to
of the
go
things
to
that
the ones
happened.
that will take care of them.
Okay, so it sounds
The
like
new
we're gonna,
ones need to go to the ones that will take care of them.
so we're recommending
It's
2
not
buses.
seniority.
Do you hear that, Julie? That's on you.
We only have 20 minutes left, so I'm trying to push us here a little
Okay.
bit. So we're recommending 2 buses in
Yep.
full board meeting then. Okay, So moving
From
on.
Nelson's.
yes, so moving on to number 7, which is for basketball, yes.
what, was that on there?
Yeah, 12,000 something.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to run.
I think we should talk to some of the boosters clubs and see what we can tell them that here's the price. The deal is that they, you know, so we have electric winches, you hook them up. But if they do them the wrong way, they unwind and, you know, things that
They
happen.
mess with the cable, they
Yeah.
can break the cable that
So-
way.
These would have a button, you would push it, they would do them in, do them out. I still think it's, talk to the booster clubs and see what they.
So we're gonna table this and talk. to
Well, and I
boosters
think the
about-
only reason it came up is because I knew we were gonna have end of year funds, and so I said, Frank, can you get that price? Because, I mean, it is an issue,
Mhm.
and the last thing we want is a cable to break and the basketball hoop to come down on somebody.
Right, or the cable hit somebody. in the
I
eye or
think
something
now that
else.
we've got a price that we can talk to the.
Yeah,
booster clubs and see.
I think we need to see what we can get again, just because of the gray area moving forward
All right, so
as far as
table
money.
to talk to booster clubs. And is somebody taking that on?
We can talk to Ron and see who's in the basketball boosters club.
Okay. Okay, then, number 8, discussion of extracurricular and or extra duty pay.
Thought we had gone over all of that.
So last time we talked about, we changed the base, but then we talked about changing all the high school to 8 and 5%. And
Yeah, I think Zach's on here. Zach, did you have an opinion on something, or did you want to say something?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. I got that part set up. No real opinion. I just was kind of
Should I brought my
interested to
readers?
see
I'm
what,
sorry.
Oh, no, I can see this.
Little louder, Zach, little louder.
let's see if this, does that help?
Yes.
Okay. No real, I guess, real opinion on it, 'cause a lot of schools, I know DeSoto, for example, pays everybody the same. I know I was just doing some math, like the shortest season's 83 days and the longest season's 124. So, I mean, if we want to pay them the same regardless of that big of a difference, that's fine, but that's kind of what you're looking at depending on season lengths.
Why it was structured the way it was structured before.
And so what seasons are the shortest and what one's the longest?
Volleyball this year would have been, and I counted Sundays because it was simpler for me to just to go through it. Volleyball would have been 83, and both girls and boys basketball was 124. Now, and I started that like first day of practice till state championship. I just was like, 'cause you never know how long teams are going to go. But from football was 108.
The highest paid.
But it's like a lot of schools in the conference, like I said, DeSoto pays the same for everybody, but it's just something, I'm guessing that was somewhat what it was based off of in the past, was also days.
So what's wrestling and track?
Track is 90, wrestling 103. And that's this year. There could be a little bit of fluctuation from year to year, but there shouldn't be a ton.
Basketball, what about softball and baseball?
Yeah.
Zach, did you hear me?
Looks like he's frozen.
Looks like he's frozen. Which mouse is this?
Should have good.
Oh, I don't see anymore. You don't have to, we can't see you, so turn your video off.
Here we go.
Okay.
You're back. Okay, if you turn your video off, then we can just hear you. And then maybe your speed will go a little faster if you want to do it that way.
No, that makes sense if I gotta figure out how to do that here.
We're asking about baseball and softball now, number of days.
Softball was 90, baseball 88.
So the one with the big difference is basketball.
Yeah, the rest are pretty close. And like I said, that's from start date to state championships for all of them this year. And like I said, next year for
You froze again, sorry.
So volleyball, track, and baseball and softball all have the same, what is it, 2156, right? Am I seeing that right?
Yeah.
And they're all pretty similar. And basketball, football, and wrestling are all over 100.
Yeah.
And they're higher. So yeah, that's probably why it was set up that way.
But, I mean, football, yeah, it's a little bit, but it's be the same paid as basketball. That's not necessarily right unless you consider the longevity of the coach.
Yeah, I mean, are you wanting to take pay away though? Because that's a can of worms.
Well, I thought that's what we had talked about last time, that we were gonna bring kind of all the head coaches. So now if we're changing that, do we figure out a day rate and then take it times that?
That's an interesting concept.
I never thought about that.
Yeah.
my thing cut out, so I didn't hear that.
We just brought up the possibility of having a day rate and then paying them for the average rate or the days.
That's what
Versus-
that's what I was kind of thinking too. Like I was actually talking about that with Adam today when I came to school, just as a possibility.
More calculations. So well, it's almost $24 for the 90-day ones.
I can't figure out how to turn it.
76 divided by 120.
Figure out if this thing has. What's the rate that we had talked about doing?
It's in the right-hand column. If you see, we were looking at doing an 8% for head high school, 5% for assistant high school. And then it was middle school, shoot, where's my,
Okay, so listen to this.
middle school was
Football.
2.75 and 1.63.
Just from a high school standpoint, the highest paid is $23.96 an hour, and the lowest paid is $23.19 an hour. So if we pick something,
What did you say, 2396?
$23.96 is what the highest paid, so that is, 90 days at the highest.
A day, not a day.
An hour, sorry, an hour.
Okay.
I thought we did hours. Oh, day, sorry, yeah,
I was
days.
gonna say,
No, you're right, days, because we were gonna do days.
Yeah.
So I took the 90 days, I took the lower rate divided by 90 days and got $23.19. And I took the higher rate and divided by 124 for basketball and got $23.96. So I took $28.75 and divided it by 124, came up with the $23.96.
So the daily rate pay should be the same.
It's it's
So we need to
somewhere in the
figure out.
$23 to
Right,
$24 an hour.
if it's $23.50, and then take it times the days. Do that. Let's do like $23.50 times 108 for football.
Funsies, all right.
Yeah, for funsies, and we'll see
23.5 times
how far away
108,
we are.
$2,538, $2,538.
And see, we have them at 3,200.
Well, that's at the new rate.
no, that's at the,
That's at the new rate.
so they were at 28.
So they'd be taking a cut. right?
But we
Right, so I need to do the new
It-
rate.
The
So
percentages
32
haven't been approved yet, just the
Right,
base pay of
You
40,000.
just,
Okay,
yeah, we had just talked about it, and so I did a,
Calculation.
That would be if we
Yes.
brought the base pay up to 40,000.
so wait, you want me to do 32,000 divided by, or 3,200 divided by,
Yeah. let's see what
3,200
that is
divided
now.
by,
My opinion is we're getting pretty complicated here.
we're just
I would
trying to
say-
figure an hour
I
rate
would
for a
say
daily rate.
if we want to take like basketball, the two basketballs and football have the longest season.
Yeah.
Pay them one rate.
but wrestling's only 5 days behind football.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they're already all at, so if you
At the
wanted to do
same.
it that way, then it's already,
Yeah,
already
but
like that.
then you can do basketball or baseball, volleyball, softball,
And track.
and track. They're a few less days and make them at the
Different
same
rate.
rate.
That's what we're already doing.
Yeah,
So you're just saying we leave it and bring the base pay up like we decided last time?
up some, but not, not have. But last time we talked about bringing everybody the exact same.
All the head
Right.
coaches.
Exact
That
same
was
thing.
would have
before we
the same.
understood the rationale, I guess, yeah.
So I think we'd have two and say, well, it's just because of the season lengths.
Yeah.
And so we have, 4 that are gonna be in one and 4 that are gonna be in the other.
Because
They say because
this
it's
brought
a
them
season.
all up.
2, 3, 4.
So then you'd be taking away from,
And that makes sense because baseball is at 6%, 6 and 4%, and so is softball, and so is volleyball. I mean, they're all
Right,
some
so
percentage points lower than what the longer seasons are.
so that was the thought part. We didn't know, yeah. So volleyball, track, softball, baseball at the lower rate because there's shorter seasons. Girls, boys, basketball, football, and wrestling at the higher rate because they're longer seasons. Yes?
That makes sense to me.
So we're leaving it alone, but we're bringing the base pay rate up like we decided
Which
last
we
time.
already had done, yeah.
Yeah.
Zach, are you talking? I can't hear you.
No, I just listen. That's,
Okay, I didn't want us to not be able to hear you.
no. I guess I'm good with whatever. I just figured I'd bring that up. But maybe that was played into the last pay scale. I'm not sure, obviously, but it probably did.
And
So
then-
basically no action. We're happy with what we did last time.
So the new rates will be,
yeah, we don't see those.
I'm sorry, because I did the calculation.
Right, you did the, where all the head coaches were the same.
I don't have that sheet with me because I do have the original. Some
I have the original.
that didn't have the 85.
Right, these are the percents.
Yeah, but- Yeah, we can make a copy of this. You can see this. And that's- So it's an $8,900 increase.
for everybody.
Yeah, leaving it what the percentages were and just changing the.
And
base
just
from last
changing the
time.
base.
So that's what it
And
was.
what's that give like the two bases and
The 6% and the 4% and the 8%. Those are the ones, right?
Yeah, so what was the 6% of 40, well,
243.18 and 6%. The 4% was 162.12, and the 8% is 324.24.
so like the head baseball goes from $21,5682 to $2,400,
24.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
which is a $243.
so that'd be baseball, softball, volleyball, track.
Yes.
Yes.
And then the other ones would be,
Football went from $28.75.76 to $3,200, which is a $324.24 increase.
That's the football and the two basketballs
And
and
wrestling.
wrestling.
Yeah. 'Cause they're all around.
so basically those are, the split between those is anywhere from 15 to 20 days difference in those seasons. So,
But when when I did the math on breaking them down per day, they were both between $23 and $24 in the old rate, so they're pretty comparable that way too, so.
so I'm good
All
with
right.
that.
Yeah.
And
Yes, same.
I mean, it's logical, makes sense why they're one, but now the 4 that have similar seasons are the same, the 4 that have similar seasons are the same. The assistants are the same.
Yeah,
And then the same happens with the middle school.
yeah,
Well,
so
do
we're
they,
leaving,
we don't
the
know if they have, but
percentages.
there weren't that many football games for middle school boys, were there?
I would do the same thing,
Just do the same
Just leave it
thing.
the way it was.
yeah,
So we're leaving the
Yeah.
percentages,
just as long
we're
as
bumping
the,
the base to 40 grand,
yeah,
right?
as long as
Yes,
the,
okay.
you know,
Okay.
football, middle school and high school are, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
they're 4 basketball, football, those 4 assistants should all make the same, or 4 middle school should all make the same, and the 4 other ones, you know what I mean?
I'm just looking at the percentages.
Because the one was off really volleyball, right? Junior
Volleyball,
high
But then we
We
decided that
decided
they decided to have more people, and so they
split it.
split it.
Last year was weird because the day before the first practice, we had 1 coach and we were scrambling to find somebody, and then 3 people volunteered. So we just paid them all a little bit last year.
Okay,
Makes sense.
all right, we're ready to move on then?
Well, and we don't have to talk about this now, but you guys did want to keep talking about the longevity thing.
For
So,
coaches.
for coaches. And that's, again, we don't have to be done with this. We can just, I'd rather have a nice discussion about it and be done, but we
Yeah.
only have 10
So you
minutes.
want to
Put
put
it
that
on
on the
our
next
next one and we-
agenda? Okay. Are we recommending anything are we working on number 8 at the board levels? Are we?
Are you, none of that is on the
Okay.
agenda for tonight.
Okay, so we
We
can
can
not worry
put it
about
on
it.
the next
Because I figured we were still discussing.
Yeah.
After we get everything hammered out, we can put it on the next.
Okay,
Agenda. Okay, so
July.
other financial matters. The
preliminary budget.
budget, yeah, I saw.
Very, very preliminary.
yeah, my goodness. But the only actual knowns in the budget is the teacher's salary and what the benefits are gonna be.
Did you find a box of paper that have been sitting in the closet for a while? I thought so.
Yes.
Like, these are all a little bit darker than,
Yeah, sorry.
no, it's fine.
That's fine.
I told
I was
her I'd
glad you
use
used
them.
them.
I
Yeah.
told her I'd use them. If they have to go through the copier, I said, we'll use
They
them.
were from Park Falls Paper Mill, which hasn't been working here.
No, I'm happy to see it used, I just noticed a difference in color, so, okay. So, you said you know benefits and teacher salary, the rest of it just kind of,
Well, and I did a 3% for everybody else, just because I didn't know what else to do.
right,
So,
So on the known end, we feel pretty good about that's where that's gonna be. The whole big unknown part, we have no idea.
right, we don't. And, I mean, we aren't gonna certify a levy or anything till October, and we don't know what's gonna happen. Because I know there's more funds coming in for some things because of COVID.
Right.
But, you know, I don't know if we're gonna get our county taxes.
And that's
the
just
last
what I
part
was
of it.
gonna ask, are
I think what I saw from.
people gonna have to pay taxes by the 31st of July?
Well,
or is
that's-
there gonna be kind of a waiver?
I think it's
because of
dependent
COVID?
on the county. And I think both Richland and Sauk both said that they had to have them in by the 31st. So that,
And
to
so
me,
they
would
can do
mean,
that. The county can
I
make that
believe so.
decision.
Yeah, I think when they had the lawsuit, kind of went back to.
Counties.
so, I think we'll get our August.
Yeah, that's the
And
other
And
thing.
that's
how-
that-
it's like
Because-
500 and some thousand,
Yeah,
but it's
but-
still at a time that we need for bridging till we get our state aids.
Yeah, I'm assuming that in the next cycles, that funding's gonna go down because there's gonna be a big hole in
Revenue.
revenues coming in, so.
So, and I mean, I just projected our student population, same it was. I mean, I just kind of, everything,
I mean, unless the Fed bails the states and everything out, I think they fell asleep on that zero button anyway, so. We may end up getting some money.
Well, and some of it we have to apply for as a district, and I haven't gotten any guidance on that yet. But the application doesn't open till July. We got guidance on that we have to apply for it. not the how.
Or what it looks like, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is informational as
Well,
we go along, okay.
we
So-
have to, as a board, we have to approve a preliminary or we can't pay anybody in July.
Oh, all right. That makes sense then, I guess.
All right.
So we don't have anything else? Motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
I'll
Second?
second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Thanks,
We have to
Dixie.
Approve the preliminary.